to you guys. You guys ready?
We're ready.
All right. Good morning. This is going to be our last all hands on deck briefing. From here on out, folks are going to go out to their posts and out to where they need to be, and we're going to talk remotely and organize remotely. So this is our last. We just had our last meeting with everybody here. We're ready to go. We think we have the resources we need. We think we have the people we need, and we think they are where they need to be. We've had a couple of good things occur. The first thing is less freezing rain than we were worried about, and that means less power outages than we were worried about, and that was our number one fear, and that's what we're ready for. The second thing is that the National Guard is here, and you'll hear in a minute about how the police department and the fire department wants to deploy them. We are not completely out of the woods as far as power is concerned. The ice that's on the lines now won't melt, and if the winds pick up, we could start having some outages, but we are ready to deal with those. The other thing that we have going in our favor is that you all have done a really good job of communicating to people how dangerous it is to be outside. And pretty much by every measure that we're taking a look at, there's less activity going on today than you would even see on a major holiday. And that is going to allow us, if that continues, to focus on what I call the dire emergencies. A lot of people think any emergency is an emergency, but that would allow us to focus on the real emergencies if that continues. And so people are going to be able to right now get through 911. Our Citizen Service Bureau calls are actually down from a normal day. So people who really need assistance are going to be able to communicate with us and get it as a result of the decreased activity. We're not going to go through everything here. We're going to try to keep it short and get to your questions, but there are a few folks that want to give you updates, and I'm going to start with the first one is our Police Chief, Dan Ison.
From the standpoint of the St. Louis Police Department, our police department is staged with all of our resources and ready to respond to any emergency. As of right now, we don't see a high volume of 911 calls coming into our dispatching center. We still encourage people to call 211 for non-emergency calls, and if they do have an emergency, call 911. I've spoken to the Director of Public Safety for Missouri, John Britt, who works for the governor. Of course, we have the National Guard available for us. The weather really turns bad. We've requested to have vehicles staged at every district station. Also at our patrol support station, we'll have 2 vehicles, and then at headquarters for any needs of transportation due to inclement weather. So right now, we're ready to go. We're ready to respond. If there is bad weather that comes later on today, we're prepared.
And then the same thing with the fire chief. The police chief and the fire chief have been putting their resources where they need to be, getting their men and women ready since Saturday. Same for Chief Ison as it is for Chief Jenkerson. So I'm going to let him kind of give you the latest from the fire department's perspective.
Good morning. We've got a full complement of manpower in at this time. We have ramped up a little bit on the EMS side. Looking forward, controlling all the calls as the medical needs come in. We've also requested with the National Guard to assist the fire department with 10 Humvee-type ambulances if the weather gets to the point where we can't get into the neighborhoods. I'm also going to ask the public to help us with a little problem that occurs when we get this heavy-type snow is do not park in front of our fire hydrants. They're hard enough to find with all the snow plowing being done right now, and when people start looking for places to park on the street, it's always a good spot to hydrant. So please, do not park in front of fire hydrants. Also, be very mindful of any type of alternative heating sources that you're going to be using in your houses. So everything's going fairly smooth right now. The 911 system is running as it should. If any, as Chief Ison said before, if you have any type of concern, call 211 and don't use 911 unless you have a true emergency.
Thanks, Chief. Ameren UE's really communicated well with us and collaborated well with us. As I've said all along, that's our number one concern is if we have widespread power outages. We don't have that yet, but I would like Chip Webb of Ameren to give you the latest and how they're looking at things.
We do appreciate the collaboration and the teamwork that's going on. Ameren UE, Ameren Missouri continues to prepare. We're constantly modifying and adjusting our plans based on the changing weather conditions. We have continued since yesterday to add additional resources. We're bringing in additional resources from out of state. We are up to about 1,100 linemen total on the property, and a total of about 2,500 total resources available to assist in our restoration. We are looking, our focus has kind of shifted because the ice is looking like it's going to be more to the south of St. Louis County and Jefferson County, and then St. Francis County, down in those areas. We are starting to bring some resources into those areas to support any restoration activities we may have there. We are not moving out of St. Louis County yet. We are going to hang around and make sure that St. Louis County, our system of St. Louis County is out of danger before we shift a lot of resources there. Keep in mind that, as we said a minute ago, there is ice on the lines in St. Louis City and County, and with the winds that are expected to get here this afternoon, this evening, those winds will add additional problems to our system with the ice already on the lines, and could cause problems over the next 2 or 3 days because that ice is not going to leave. So we could experience new outages over the next 2 or 3 days just based on existing ice and the winds that comes along. So we are prepared. We're standing by. As soon as something starts out, we will be on it. So far, since this has all started, we have had really no outages with respect to the weather. We've had some outages, but we normally have outages on our system over the course of the day. Everything's been pretty much normal, and we're crossing our fingers and hoping that the worst of this is past us.
Health and safety is our first priority, but while we're focusing on that, obviously we're focusing on, as quickly as possible, improving transportation, get the snow off the streets. And so we're going to have Todd Walton, our streets director, talk a little bit about that.
As you've seen and heard, the precipitation is increasing significantly now. Therefore, we're maxing everything out here at noon. We'll have 70 vehicles on the road starting at noon, full 12-hour shifts. We're expecting this to take 36, maybe 48 hours to get through it. You're going to see the pavement covered up for the most part. We're thinking the arterials, we might start seeing some pavement by noon tomorrow. So this is a critical situation here to stay out of our way and let us do our jobs. When I say it's going to get bad, the roads are going to be covered. We've been working with Metro and the police and fire, and we believe we'll be able to sustain these roads to a level where the buses and the ambulances and the fire trucks and the police cars will still be able to get around, and that's our goal.
And then lastly, on transportation, John Nation with Metro will give you an update on what they're facing right now.
Thank you very much. Obviously, weather poses significant challenges for public transportation. Excuse me, but we continue to operate the service. We intend to operate it through the storm. A quick update on where we are with service. Our blue line is running from Fairview Heights, Illinois, out to Clayton. We are using our bus service. We are supplementing the light rail with our bus service from Clayton down to Shrewsbury and from Fairview Heights east out to Scott. Our red line is running from Fairview Heights up to Lambert Airport. Our bus service continues to operate throughout the system. Now we are experiencing some minor delays with light rail and with our bus. We operate a little slower, obviously, when the weather is like this. Significantly for our elderly and disabled customers who rely on call rides, we continue to operate the system. We are meeting all of our appointments today. I'm grateful to the people. I'm grateful to the local media for getting the word out. We have had many of our clients call in today and say they would prefer not to go out today, but all the ones who do need to get someplace, we are servicing them, and we intend to continue the service through this event. Our goal is to move people safely, and so long as we can do that, we will do so. Thank you.
We are, even though it looks like the ice is not going to be as bad as expected, we are still geared up in case there are widespread outages. Just briefly, I'm going to have Bill Seedoff, our Human Services Director, talk about that, and then we'll take questions.
I just came off a conference call with 211 people with 211 at United Way, telling them that a call volume is about normal, but the calls they are getting about the storm conditions have to do with what will we do if the power goes out, and then how do we get to a place if we have that need. We have made provisions. Red Cross is in the process of moving trailers to 2 locations here in the city. Now, the decision hasn't been made yet to open those emergency shelters, but it only takes them about an hour to set up. Those trailers should be in place before noon today at 2 sites, 12th Park Rec Center and the Lowell Recreation Center at Martin Luther King and Kings Highway. So we're in a position to be able to respond, again, depending on the weather, the power situation.
And then one last quick note before we take questions. Charlie Dooley and his team, we are in close contact with them because driving conditions have deteriorated. We asked them not to drive down here, and we're going to talk to them like we're going to start talking to everybody else by telephone. But their emergency management center is open, and the county executive and his team are in their bunker. And because because of the driving conditions, we asked them not to come down here, but we continue to collaborate very closely with them. Just wanted to add that. With that, they will take questions.